On to the big question of the day. If you knew everything you knew now, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I do know everything I know now.
Yeah. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
Knowing everything you know now.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. On what subject? Just in general?
Anything.
Oh wow. This is
You can make it cycling if you want. Cycling was a big part of my life when I was 20.
Should we start with cycling? Let's start with cycling.
Yeah, sure.
My advice to my 20-year-old self would be start cycling.
Fair enough. So you weren't cycling when you were 20?
No, I was like kind of fit. I played a lot of football. Finished playing rugby by that point because I was 5'7".
Yeah.
And used to get injured a lot because everyone else was big. So I started playing football, which I used to do quite a bit. I enjoyed. I was all right at it.
Yeah.
And well, at 20, I was like peak musician.
Yeah.
So I was actually doing the fun stuff whilst you were trying to be a boring cyclist.
I was being a boring cyclist. So when I was 20, I was an elite racing cyclist in the UK. My advice to myself, cycling based, would have been leave the UK.
Don't bother.
No, not at all. No, definitely not. Like I think in lots of circumstances, the guys I was racing against have had a great time and are still having a great time. Some of them got really far in the sport. Teo, for example, he was racing when I was, and now he rides for the biggest team.
He's a lot.
He's having a terrible time at the moment because he's got a broken hip or leg, but usually he's having a great time.
He must be a lot younger than
me. Yeah. A couple of years.
Was it that close?
Yeah. So he would have been a junior when I wasn't, under 23. But I would have left. So I was less than 60 kilos a lot of the time when I was racing.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 67 now, 68, maybe even more. So super skinny, little guy, great FTP. So I was fitter than a lot of other people I was racing against. My racecraft wasn't very good. But if you're little and you have a high FTP, it doesn't really get you anywhere it doesn't get you that far in England because the climbs are short enough for the sprinters to get over and the powerhouses to get over. You need a longer climb. So really I should have gone to France, I should have gone to Spain and done some racing there, ridden some mountains, and the standard of riding there is so high that you have to get good at bunch racing. So I think that would have been a nice sort of springboard and a way into that kind of racing.
But did you want to be a professional cyclist?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
But but is that the advice you would give yourself? Do you look back now and go like, actually, yeah, I should have been a professional cyclist and that's something I still wish I had done?
I don't know. If I was in like Teo's position now, it would be a different path, but I would be very happy if I got to that kind of situation. Even if I didn't reach that level, because he won the Giro. Like it's really, really good. But if I was a domestique and I was racing, maybe the Vuelta or something like that, brilliant. I'd be very happy with my life, I think. However, I'm very happy with my life now. If I was going to give non-cycling advice to my 20-year-old self, it would be start a YouTube channel then.
Did it exist?
Yeah. And the guys who got in then
How long has YouTube been
were able to make absolutely anything, really creative stuff, and as long as it was
really
good.
Uncreative, and it'd still do well.
Nice stat.
Charlie bit my finger.
I thought you were going to say Charlie is so cool. Like he was one of the British YouTubers then. Yeah, Charlie bit my finger, but there was some but that viral videos like that happen now still, where it's just like a one-off big thing. But YouTubers were able to really make obscure new genres and experiment with stuff, and generally it did quite well.
Yeah.
And there were less people doing it, so I think it would have been an exciting and interesting pathway as well.
Yeah.
Not cycling based, but
yeah, I think the only reason I would tell myself to start cycling at the age of 20 is not for performance at all. It's just a really good hobby, and I think I would have commuted more and done more things about bikes. But to be fair, I got into bikes when I was like 25, so it's not that much difference really.
No.
Extra 5 years.
It's cool, isn't it? It teaches you so much stuff. Like you learn how to build things and work on things, and socialize with people you wouldn't have otherwise, and it teaches you about persistence and consistency and whatever you're doing in life.
But I don't even care about that kind of stuff. I just like, I used to walk a lot. So like,
you know, I struggle with walking.
Your legs don't
not
work.
The actual not the physical act of walking. The if I go to the shop or if I go for a haircut in the town near me, I take my running shoes. I'll run there and back,
Right.
Because I cannot bear walking.
That's weird.
I have to be in a very specific, like, okay, maybe if I'm on holiday and that, like, with calm mindset, I can go for a walk. But most of my time, no way.
So
I'm way too highly strung. I'm just like, oh, why am I going so slowly? I wish I was on a bike or running.
So I grew up in Cardiff. My college, so I used to walk to school from the age of like 12 because we lived close enough. It was like a mile. Then I went to St. David's College. Shout out to St. David's. That was probably that was probably 3 or 4 miles, and I used to walk. I used to take about 40 minutes. It was about 40-50 minute walk, and I used to just walk that all the time. Not all the time, but quite a bit. We used to go out on the Lash in Cardiff
and walk home.
Yeah,
I used to do that. Yeah, when I was a bit younger.
We would walk to town, which would have been like 6 or 7 miles.
Yeah.
Drinking on the way.
Yeah.
Go out and then walk home at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, we don't want to waste your money, do you?
Well, it wasn't even about that. It was just we just like walking.
Oh, we did it to not waste money. We just go. Yeah, I had a mate who lived in. Well, how long's the walk between like far end of Chessington and Kingston, which are 2 towns. So like Kingston was where we go out. Chessington's where he lived. I'm sure it was about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half walk. And he'd do that whole walk after like 3 a.m. All right, see you later, guys. I walked the first bit with him and then bye.
So you did like walking. But anyway, my point is, I used to do a lot of walking, and it probably would have been good if some of that was on a bike.
Much easier.
Although I used to basically just put like, check this out.
I'll ride a bike.
You probably don't even know what this is. I used to put my mini disc on, and then I would listen to.
I remember
on the way.
You're not that much older.
Only because you saw it in a museum.
No, I've got one. It's only one. I've still got it.
And
I used to have a tape player before that. A Walkman, actual Walkman.
You got in a charity shop.
My dad gave it to me, and I used to listen to. There was a band called the Hamsters, and I also had the best rock album in the world ever, and the logo on the front was Earth just exploding like third rock from the sun.
That seems familiar.
It's on Spotify. Someone's made it a playlist of it. So link down below, guys. And I had that on a cassette, and it was 2. I think it was 2 cassettes in one thing. You used to have to change them and wind it and stuff. Yeah. Brilliant.
In terms of life, in terms of advice to myself at 20, having not about cycling stuff, I think there's probably 2 bits I would give myself. Number 1 would be learn a trade, get an apprenticeship. I've always thought that. I've always thought like the way my mind works, I should have done a trade.
Instead of you went to uni.
I went to uni for 1 year studying law, and then I dropped out because I wanted to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I was basically a professional musician for like 12 months. Bearing in mind I'd been in a band trying to achieve that. Yeah, exactly. I'd been in a band trying to achieve that for probably 3 or 4 years before that. So basically, whilst at the age that you were trying to be a really good bike racer, I was trying to be a really good musician. Then I was basically...
Did we get to the same sort of level? You actually made a living from it.
Oh God, no one makes a living from that.
so we both got the same.
Yeah. Like as good as you can get without making any money.
Yeah. That's good. It's totally weird.
And then when I realised that this was a very bad place to be at the age of like 20, 21, that you basically have no income, and you get a little bit of income from doing a little bit of work here and there, and there's no realistic opportunities. I then fell into other stuff, but I think I should have done
sinister other stuff.
Yeah, not dodgy stuff.
Oh, okay.
It isn't dodgy, but it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. I fell into finance.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Not drug dealing.
No, it's not my thing. But yeah, a trade. I should have learned a trade. Mental health advice. Two bits for me on this.
Yeah.
I wish I had got therapy much sooner, and I wish I had the patience to understand the value of meditation, and I'd started doing that at the age of 20.
Why did you go to therapy?
Because I had my third nervous breakdown by the age of 37.
What do you attribute to that?
Partly my brain, in that it never shuts off. Partly working continuously for about 5 years with no rest, no holidays, and attributed again to my brain not knowing how to stop working. So even when I'm resting, I'm not actually resting. My brain is still working, historically, and trying to grow a business.
Has meditating helped that then?
Yes, massively. Well, for me anyway, this is the thing. I committed to it because I didn't have an option. I had to commit. I had to teach myself new skills because I was 37 and I had the third nervous breakdown in my life. Like you have, like, you can't get to that point and just be like, well, I'll just keep doing this every few years. So I committed to meditation because I responded quite well to it. Just using the Headspace app and just trying to do it as much as I can. And the two things that I get from that personally is I now notice when I'm working too much. I notice when my nervous system is elevating. I notice when I'm getting stressed, and then I have excuse me. Then
there's a bigger self-awareness.
Yeah, and then I have like tools and skills to be able to then like not for that to not become like an issue that keeps growing. And the other thing that I'm learning, which is the hardest bit, is how to get my brain to relax, how to actually like rest, how to have an evening where my brain isn't just focusing on work and actually it's kind of doing the stuff it wants to do and having a bit of calm and relaxation.
Yeah.
That's what I've got from both of those things, therapy and meditation.
I find getting into that state of relaxation quickly, like in short bursts, almost impossible. The reason I've survived, so I've done YouTube, like worked extremely hard at YouTube for 7 years. And the only reason I think I've been okay is because all of that was interspersed with very long bikepacking trips. And on those trips, okay, I'll do a little bit of work in the evenings, like I put together a video, that's creating something, that's good. But I'm not absorbing information all day. And the whole time you're on the bike, it's very good for your brain. Whereas if I think I'm at home just working like this for extended periods of time, I would be in trouble. I'd have to do things like that.
But I don't let you work too much now because I refuse to work too much.
True. I'll send you messages and you'll be like, it's the weekend.
Speak to me.
They're on my 6th podcast clip, like, lovely weekend. All I've done is just sat in a different place. It's not work if I'm sat at home.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's not true, but okay.
It's fine.